disproportionate use of force by Israel, and inhuman blockade are in flagrant violation of international law.
Arrests, incursions, killing of children.
The occupying power has metamorphosed from a militant usurper into a heavily militarized apartheid regime that defines its existential philosophy by race. The regime's systemic repression of Palestinians had turned more brutal as bombing and blockade of Gaza continues and ethnic cleansing, land seizure and home demolition are ongoing. How much longer is the world willing to endure this spectacle of wanton cruelty? The so-called normalization of relations with the occupying regime will only reinforce this sense of impunity at the cost of Palestinians.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. They said it could not be done. They said it was impossible. But after the latest remarkable advances toward resolving the Arab-Israeli conflict, the world must acknowledge and say to the Islamic Republic of Iran, you did the impossible. For decades, Arab states and Israel fought each other in wars, while the Arab League enforced a global economic boycott of the Jewish state. Whatever happened, the Arab states would always blame Israel. But since around 2006, this began to change. And if anyone most deserves the credit, it's Iran. If not for Iran's escalating aggression across the Middle East, if not for its sponsorship of wars and terror through Hezbollah, Islamic Jihad, and other proxy militia in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, and Gaza, if not for Iran's subversion in other countries, like the terrorist plot by the Qassam Soleimani Brigade, just uncovered this week in Bahrain, Arab nations might never have concluded that the greatest threat to their security is not Israel, but, on the contrary, that both Arabs and Israelis face a common and increasingly dangerous threat, the hatred, terror, and war fomented by Iran. Indeed, if not for Iran's aggression, imperialism, and terrorism, it is impossible to imagine that so many Arab nations would be abandoning ardent, age-old antagonism to open unprecedented new relations with Israel. Mr. Chair, they said it could not be done. They said it was impossible. But today, we tip our hat and say, Iran, you did the impossible. Thank you.